Aloha, cupcakes. Today we're going to be talking about speed, or more the point, the lack thereof. Now, if with any luck you've already watched the video where I'm talking about palleting and you have a pretty good understanding of palleting, and if you don't, there's a link. But once it's done, once you have your paint reduced and you are going to pull your lines, the next part of this is figuring out your speed. And I specify that it's your speed. Depending on what your clear coats are, depending on what your base coats are, depending on how well your hand shakes or trembles or the grip that you put into this thing, you need to find a speed that works for you. Today I'm doing a little bit finer lines than I normally do because I'm usually pretty heavy-handed when it comes to some of the detail stuff. So I'm pulling a lot slower than what you might expect me to do. In hindsight, though, this might actually just be my normal speed. Especially when I'm dealing with these sharp, pointy brushes, because this is the Vondego Pro Series. This one is a 000. I know in my brush tests I've been using a whole lot of double O's, but truth be known, when I pinstripe, I usually use a 1-gauge brush, or at least I have for many years. So it's a little daunting for me to be using something that comparatively is the width of a razor blade to something that's the size of a baseball bat. So yeah, I slow down a bit. But once you find it, and once you've kind of figured out what your rate is, you'll notice that the one you are comfortable with is the one that's going to pull the cleanest lines. So maybe for you it's a little bit slower. Maybe for you it's a little bit faster. But when you are slowing down, you're greatly increasing the accuracy of where your stripes go. And when you speed up, maybe not so much. I mean, sometimes I'm pretty good with that. Like when I got to do sidelines and it's starting to get hot, then yeah, I'm probably going to move a little faster just because it's hot and I don't want to be out there. Don't know if you can tell by this video, I'm not a small person. So, daylight, not really my favorite. Summertime, also not my favorite. So, I try to work quickly. But sometimes you also need to understand the phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. By that, what I mean is when you are working like this, yes, my lines are slow and it's taking me a very long time to do this. I'm not having to redo anything. Like you don't see me having to touch up individual lines. Like sometimes when I'll do a line, if I go too fast, I will have to go over that line again just to clean up the edges of it. That's not really the most efficient way of spending your time now, is it? Now, if you slow down just a little bit, well, then the line's cleaner and you don't have to do that. I'm a big fan of not doing it again. So, slow it down. Equally, though, you can be going entirely too slow and you will see every heartbeat your body makes in your lines. At that point, then, speed up. It's finding balance. And the weirdest thing that I ever did in order for me to start figuring out this balance was changing the music I listen to. Now, I have it off at this point. I think I was listening to punk rock while I was painting this one. Yeah. We can go down that whole list. In the instance, though, when I was trying to figure out how to develop this rhythm, because I can talk right, I started listening to a little more eclectic music, things like big band and jazz, not necessarily the slower pace stuff, just not death metal. Don't get me wrong. If you can pinstripe doing with the grindcore band playing right in front of you, you're doing great. I've done it. It was awesome. Also, Napalm Death, one of my favorite bands. But when you're doing this, try to find something that has a complicated rhythm to it. Something that you're not going to dance to. So classical music, for example, would be a huge, huge one. If you're not into classical, Animals as Leaders is a decent band. They're somewhere between jazz and metal, and I could not even try to explain to you what it actually is. But find some music that you're not willing to dance to, something that's not going to make you groove, and see if that helps. And if it doesn't, then change it and put something like disco music. See how that works for you. Just whatever it is to get you into a different mindset while you are doing this, so you can focus more on your breathing and focus more on keeping your consistency in your lines. Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's either do this or don't do this. And I know that sounds like nonsense, but that's the kind of person I am. Nonsense. Also, just try things. See if it works. Till next time, stay moist, my friends.